What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be looking forward into 2026. Hi, my name is Leo, and if you guys talk about anything movie, TV show, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. And like I said, we're going to be going over my top 10 anticipated movies of 2026. Without further ado, let's get into this ranking. So 2025 is now behind us, and now it's time to look forward into 2026, and we're going to be going over my most anticipated movies of 2026. We're going to be going to a couple of honorable mentions, and then we're going to go into my top 10 most anticipated movies. But before I give you my thoughts on my most anticipated movies of 2026, make sure to let me know what you guys are most excited for this year. There is a bunch of movies this year. It looks like it's going to be a pretty hectic and crazy and fantastic year for movies. So I'm very, very excited. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into a couple of honorable mentions. Avengers Doomsday. Now, I am excited for the movie, but it is a movie that doesn't feel like we really built too much up to it. It feels like it's going to be just bring every single character we can find back into one movie and make one huge epic film. And that could be very exciting. The little small teas that we got and have gotten me a little bit more excited than what I was previously. But it does feel like there's not much build up to it. And that's why I'm not super excited for it. But obviously, I still think this movie is going to be very, very fun at the bare minimum and going to be extremely epic at its best. So I am still excited for it, but it is not in my top 10. And then we have The Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm very excited for this because it's the first Star Wars movie that we're going to be getting in theaters for a very, very long time, or since a very, very long time. And I really, really enjoy the first two seasons of The Mandalorian and Grogu. The final season or so was okay, and that's why it's not in my top 10. Otherwise, this would have been a heck of a lot higher because I love Star Wars. I love this series. And to see what they're going to do, are they going to conclude it? Are they going to just carry it on? I'm not sure, but I am very excited for this. But again, just because of way the final seasons kind of felt and didn't work, they weren't as exciting as the first two. That's why it's a little bit lower on my list and not into my top 10, just in my honorable mentions. And then we have the Hunger Games Sunrise of the Reaping. I'm a huge Hunger Games fan. I loved all the original ones with Jennifer Lawrence in it. The previous one, I wasn't that big of a fan of. If I think it was like in my bottom 5 of the year that it came out. So it's not something that I would say I'm excited for if it's in that vein of that style, the way they kind of filmed that movie. But coming from the trailers, this looks like a very classic Hunger Games movie with a lot of stakes on it. I'm very excited. I liked a lot of the actors and actresses that are involved in this movie. It looks like a lot of fun and going back to those more original Hunger Games that we got. I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of them and feel like they're a little too just cringy or whatever's. I had a lot of fun with them. So if it's in that vein, I'm very excited for this. But because of what we got the previous Hunger Games, it is not in my top 10. And then we have Project Hail Mary. Now, this was teetering to going into my top 10, but this movie just looks like an absolute blast. We have Ryan Gosling going on a huge space trip and seemingly finding an alien species and trying to figure something out. I'm not sure what the full details of this movie is, but just coming from the trailer, it looks absolutely gorgeous the way the shots are taken. It looks like it's going to be an amazing, just emotional roller coaster. I think the book is one of the best selling books ever, or something like that. I don't know. There's not too much I know about the movie, but just based off of the trailer and the certain small premise that I got from it, it looks like it's going to be a fantastic movie. So it was almost in my top 10, but it got beat out by a couple of films. And the last honorable mention we have is The Bride, where a story taking place about the bride of Frankenstein. And you also have Christian Bale here as Frankenstein's monster. I absolutely love the style of this movie just based off of the trailers. And of course, I love all the actors and actresses that are involved. So this movie looks like it's going to be an absolute blast, a great like gothic tragedy horror romance type of deal here. So very, very excited to see what they're going to go with this film, especially because it looks tremendously different in style than from Frankenstein that we got this past year. So I'm very, very excited for The Bride. But now to my top 10 most anticipated movies. And coming in number 10, we have Obsession. Now, I've only seen this small snippet teaser trailer, but that teaser trailer absolutely hooked me. It looked like it was going to be such an incredible little horror movie. And all the early buzz from film festivals that I've been hearing, it just seems like this movie is going to be knocked out of the park. I'm so, so excited for this movie. And I think this is this person's directorial debut. And funny enough, it's someone that I follow on Instagram that I just love watching his skits. I think his skits are very fun, and to see him being able to make his own film and get it into theaters and have as much praise as he's been having out of the film festivals, you got to champion that. You got to go watch it. It looks like it's going to be amazing. So Obsession is my 10th most anticipated movie. And coming at number 9, we have Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, Spider-Man is my second favorite superhero of all time. All the Tom Holland movies for me have been absolutely fun. There's certain people that don't really like them, especially because how grand and big they are. There's always trying to connect all these different things. And I can definitely understand that. No, we haven't gotten a MCU Spider-Man film in New York, being a web slinger, street level type of thing. Now they say this is going to be street level, but who knows? When you have the Hulk, the Punisher, and maybe a couple of other things that are going to be happening, it's hard to sell the street level aspect of it. But I am excited that we're going to be heading back to New York, and I love John Bernthal as the Punisher, so that is very exciting for me as well. And it's seemingly that we might get a traditional Hulk back in this movie, and if we do, that is going to be absolutely awesome. All the set photos that we've been getting from the filming look incredible. A lot of practical effects that they're using. So this could possibly be the best Tom Holland Spider-Man film. Who knows? But it looks like it's going to be absolutely epic. I'm very, very excited for this. And yeah, this seems like the MCU movie of the year. I feel like I'm way, way more excited for this than Doomsday. Obviously, seeing the ranking on my list of most anticipated. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for this new Spider-Man. And then coming number 8, we have Robert Edgar's Werewolf. I am, again, very excited for this, especially because his previous film Nosferatu was absolutely incredible. I love that he's starting to take all these like traditional horror icons from Universal. So you have Nosferatu last year or 2 years ago now that was in my top 10 if I remember correctly, if not in my top 15. Absolutely love that movie, and the more I've seen that film, I feel like it's obviously gotten up in the ranking because it's just so incredibly filmed, such a beautifully shot film. And if it's in that same vein, but just now based off of werewolves, I know instantly I'm gonna love it. I think Robert Eggers is a fantastic director, fantastic filmmaker. You know, The Northman is absolutely amazing. The Witch is absolutely amazing. And of course, just Nosferatu, which I think is my favorite of his films as of now. So I love vampires. I love werewolves. So I'm very, very excited to see what Robert Edgar does with this idea. And I just know it's gonna be absolutely amazing. But taking a big swing in terms of genre, coming in my number 7 is going to be Scary Movie 6. Now, this might not be in most people's most anticipated, but for me, especially seeing the Wayans brothers coming back to write the movie, um, and help direct and produce and all these different things, that just makes me extremely excited. The first two Scary Movies are one of my favorite comedies of all time. I grew up watching those movies, grew up watching them every single week. I would probably see one of them every month. I'll see them. I still watch them to this day. I think they're absolutely hilarious even to this day. They always make me crack up. I enjoy some of the other later Scary Movies. They're not the best, but they're still fun in its own right. But seeing the Wayne brothers come back, that should instantly put you in the seats, because nowadays comedies aren't what they used to be. And I know the Wayne brothers are going to come in with their traditional comedy from back in the day, and this is just going to be absolutely hilarious. So I'm so excited to see what they're going to do with this, especially with now we have so many new horror movies, so many new horror icons, horror tropes that we see all the time in current day, and how are they going to make fun of that? That's going to be very fun. But coming in number 6, we have Evil Dead Burns. Now, I don't know too much about this movie. All I know is the director directed a movie called Infested a couple of years ago, and that movie was very, very creepy and did a very good job in terms of that in that film. The Evil Dead franchise is one of my favorite franchises of all time. The 2013 remake, reboot, or whatever you want to call it, is my favorite horror movie of all time. And Evil Dead Rise, I thought was absolutely amazing as well. And so I'm very excited for Evil Dead Burn. I think Evil Dead is one of the most consistent franchises out there. I loved every single one of these movies. I don't think there's a bad one in the entire franchise. So for me, for how much I already love this franchise, it is a no-brainer for me to be excited for Evil Dead Burns. Coming at number 5, we have Supergirl. Now, James Gunn and his vision has already been sold to me. Superman last year was absolutely amazing. It was in my top 5 movies of last year, and the Supergirl trailer for me was absolutely amazing. A lot of people comparing it to Guardians of the Galaxy, saying it looks a little too wacky, but just knowing what this story is adapting, which comic book this story is adapting, it is much darker than what the trailer is making it out to be. The trailer is making it out to be very fun and whimsical, and it's going to be great. And yeah, that's how you sell a movie. You want to make people to come into the seats because it's going to be a fun movie, but I know this movie is going to be a lot darker than what Superman was, and I'm very, very excited for that. I think the actress playing Supergirl looks absolutely amazing in the suit. She looks like she fits the role perfectly, and yeah, I'm sold for this DC universe. I've always loved DC more than the MCU or Marvel. So for me, I want these movies to succeed. Superman was amazing, so I know Supergirl is going to be fantastic as well. But coming at number four, we have another DC movie, and that is going to be Clayface. And I am even more excited for this movie because, I don't know how true this is, but everyone keeps saying that this is going to be like a DC version of a body horror. And if you remember something like the episode of Clayface from the animated series, if they adapt something similar to that, you could absolutely see how it's a body horror where the clay is trying to take over and his body is morphing and he can't control it and he needs more of this substance to continue making his face look good, but it continues to just turn him into the Clayface monster that is going to be incredible. And to make that into a movie and make it more horror based and body horror and just have a great director, great producer, great writers behind it, I mean, how can you not champion this? You have Mike Flanagan is involved in this, and that's going to be just incredible. So for me, seeing a Clayface body horror movie and seeing how James Gunn is tonally all over the place for this universe, and not in a bad way where not everything needs to be a whimsical comedy with a lot of action in it. You can have horror, you can have a more emotional movie, you can have your whimsical and still all feel like it's in part of the same universe. So because of this, I'm just so excited for this movie and so excited for what this universe is going to do. But coming at number three, we have Dune Messiah, or now known as Dune Part 3. The first Dune movie was really good in my opinion, a great setup movie, but not like jaw dropping. But Dune Part 2, seeing that movie in theaters, and I've seen it many times since, was absolutely incredible. I think Timothy Chalamet does a fantastic job. Everybody around him. Honestly, this is such a great film in terms of the actors and actresses involved. You have Denis Villeneuve that has a very amazing eye for his cinematography, the way he directs these scenes, the pacing of it, the stakes that he puts onto the screen is absolutely incredible. And to see where this story is going to be going, especially with the Holy War coming after uh, Timothy Chalamet's character takes over or kind of dethrones the emperor. I mean, I don't even know what this story is going to entail. I've never read the books, but I am beyond excited, especially just because how amazing the first two movies were. And I just love this universe. I think it's absolutely incredible. So definitely Dune Part 3 is going to be my top 10. But coming at number 2, we have Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. Now, this little teaser trailer that they released absolutely sold me. Like Emily Blunt's performance in that small little snippet was absolutely incredible. This just looks like an amazing film. Steven Spielberg is one of the best directors of all time, one of the best filmmakers of all time. We all know this. He has some of my favorite movies in my top 10 of all time as well, and you cannot miss this. This movie is going to be absolutely incredible. I don't know how true this is, but I read something. I read like an article or somewhere that this is the movie that he was kind of envisioning when he made Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but he just didn't have the technology, the budget to do that back then. So if that's the case, that movie is in the middle of the road of his movies, but I still think it's very fantastic. It's very eerie and has just great performances all around. So if he's trying to kind of do that movie, but with the bigger budget, with more, better actors and actresses, with better visual effects, the technology that he needs to make the movie that he really envisioned, yeah, that's going to be absolutely incredible. Coming in at number 1, is it any surprise? This is probably be most people's number 1, but that is going to be Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. And the small little snippet that you get in front of Avatar Fire and Ash, jaw dropping. Like it was so intense, so gritty. The sequences were just amazing, beautifully shot. Performances were incredible. I love the story of the Odyssey. I read the Odyssey back in high school. One of the best, classic epic story of all time. And having Christopher Nolan adapt that after just sweeping the Oscars with with Oppenheimer a couple years ago. How can you not be excited for this? I already bought my tickets almost a year ago for 70 millimeter IMAX. And yeah, I'm just counting the days until this movie comes out because it is going to be one of the best films ever. And it could possibly beat out all the other Christopher Nolan films if it's done right. Just based off that 6-minute prologue snippet that we got, Yeah, this is going to be absolutely amazing. I don't care if people think that this is not historically accurate. You can't be historically accurate when you have, you know, krakens and cyclopses and things like that. This is a fictional story, and based off of what I've seen already, it is going to be absolutely incredible. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys' most anticipated movies of 2026 are. Put that list in the comment section down below. I love to discuss all of this excitement for this new year, because this definitely is going to be a big, big year for movies. But again, if you guys like Tom Thing movie, TV show, video game later, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. Make sure that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.